This comet fragment is about to hit Earth. But don't panic, experts say. His impact site is at sea level, will not have any impact on land, and it will also live stream this once-in-a-lifetime feat. As the comet approaches, everyone follow the broadcast and count down to 5. As the countdown ends, but everyone waited for a moment of loneliness. There was no movement on the sea surface. Is it because the screen is delayed? Just when everyone's a little confused, the ground suddenly began to vibrate. Jack quickly ran out of the room to check the situation. I saw a flock of swallows and sparrows flying in the sky. Everything reveals an ominous sign, but he hasn't had time to reflect on it yet. A strong shockwave struck head-on. Next, insert a news item on TV. It turns out that the comet fragments did not hit the sea level according to expert predictions, but in central Florida, although he's only the size of a football field. But the impact wave can also be felt from 2,400 kilometers away. Scene. It's even more indescribable in words. Cities with a population of 8 million were instantly reduced to ashes. Everyone was stunned by this scene. What's even more terrifying is that there are more comet fragments coming soon. Just then, Jack received a smartphone call from the National Security Agency. Her family was selected to go to the emergency shelter, boarding from a certain Air Force base with a QR code. Neighbors are checking their phones one after another, and started complaining about why I didn't receive it. Actually, the selected talents are all cutting-edge talents from various industries, and Jack is a top architect. Was fortunate enough to be selected. They quickly packed their luggage. Just as I walked out the door, I was stopped by a neighbor. He requested Jack to take his daughter with Ruth. Just as I was about to speak, I was stopped by my husband. They're not aware of the situation at the shelter. If we bring the child over, unable to board the plane, leave her alone at the airport. Why don't you stay with your parents? As night falls, these unselected people, supermarkets have become their battleground. In order to arrive at the airport safely and on time, Jack decided to avoid the crowd and take the path. After a few hours, they finally arrived safely at the Air Force base. This place is already surrounded to the brim. Jack led his family through the crowded crowd. After displaying the QR code, the family was able to exchange the boarding bracelet with their QR code. However, when they were preparing to board the plane, an accident happened. As each family can only carry one luggage, when Jack was organizing his luggage, discovered that my son's insulin is missing. His son has severe diabetes. Jack thought he must have landed in the car. After inquiring with the soldiers, it was learned that the plane still has 20 minutes to take off. So he asked his wife to wait in place for him to return to the car and get the insulin. But Ruth waited for a while. I can't bear to press it. Seeking help from soldiers, but accidentally told his son that he had diabetes. As a result, not only did they not receive any help, instead, he was taken to the command room. According to regulations, no one with any chronic illness is allowed to board a plane, despite Ruth's strong explanation. But it didn't help, even making trouble without reason using the other person's family as an example. So what am I down there? Hear this. Ruth is ashamed. He had to take his son back to the parking lot, trying to find a husband, and left a note for Jack to return to his mother's house. After Jack gets the insulin back, but there's no trace of his wife. He thought his wife and son had already boarded the plane. Under helplessness, Jack had to board the plane and wait for the shelter to search for it. But I didn't expect that. Someone on the plane saw the insulin in his hand. Asked him how he got up. His nephew has diabetes. Refused boarding. After Jack listened, realizing that my wife and children have not boarded yet. So when the plane was about to close the hatch, he voluntarily got off the plane. Meanwhile, there was a riot outside the airport. Those who were not selected broke through the defense line. Charge in. A refueling officer was shot, causing fuel leakage. Jack saw that the situation was not good. Hurry up and get everyone off the plane. Soldiers, protect these elites. I had to aim my gun at these people. Amidst chaos, the leaked fuel is instantly ignited. One plane after another exploded completely. At present, Jack's main task is to find his wife and children. When he returned to the parking lot, saw the note my wife left in the car. I learned that my wife and children have gone to my father-in-law's house. He only let go of his suspended heart. Subsequently, he hurried to his father-in-law's house. Meet them. Meanwhile, Lucy took her son to a nearby pharmacy, looking for some medicine to relieve my son's condition. Unexpectedly, a group of rioting refugees broke in. They're trying to control supplies. Kill Ruth whenever you see someone. Protecting my son and climbing towards the door. Unfortunately, he was stopped by a black man. Fortunately, the black people did not shoot, but let them walk quickly in panic. He got into a kind-hearted person's car when introducing each other, but he spoke up about his family being selected. This actually caused the driver to act maliciously. Took his bracelet, leaving with his son. Ruth can only helplessly despair and cry. To blame, one can only blame one's own mouth. Lack of quick draw control. The kind-hearted couple brought Jack's son to the airport. When I was about to use a bracelet to pass the test, my son took the opportunity to seek help from the soldiers. Say, this is not his parents. The soldier understood everything in an instant, and arrested the couple. Ruth hitchhiked to the airport again, successfully found his son with the help of soldiers. On the other side, Jack also encountered registration. Trying to snatch his bracelet, he struggled to wrestle with the opponent. Unexpectedly, a car accident suddenly occurred. throw everyone out, but they still refused to give up the chance to survive. Jack waved his hammer recklessly, but accidentally knocked one person to death, to scare the other person away. After one night, he came to a small town hungry. This place is already empty. He broke into a house. Simply deal with 2 people. Then I found a car key in the drawer, after writing down an IOU. Driving to my father-in-law's house, but his wife Ruth didn't come back. The phone cannot be dialed either. Just as they were anxiously waiting, the phone at home rings. It's Ruth calling. He has arrived at the village entrance. Finally, after experiencing separation, the family was able to reunite, although only separated for a short day. But this day seems so long. After returning home, a shelter located on Greenland is being broadcasted on television. There are still many vacant spaces left. Let the selected elite personnel go quickly. This is also their last chance. But the father-in-law is already elderly. He is unwilling to leave his hometown. Choose to stay. Under helplessness, Jack had to take his wife and children to the shelter. Of course, there was a traffic jam on the road that I expected. At this point, an emergency notice is issued on the radio. A large group of debris is about to fall in upstate New York. This is exactly the area where they are located. Just finished speaking. Comet fragments fell from the sky. The overwhelming debris leaves people nowhere to hide. Jack quickly drove through the forest. The family survived under the viaduct. As the meteorite cluster dispersed, the whole family should hurry up and continue their journey. When they arrived at the airport, the last plane is about to take off. Under helplessness, Jack had to take the risk of stopping the plane, although the plane is already full. Fortunately, through Jack's plea, the captain still got them on the plane. After a night of flight, the shelter is already within reach. But at this moment, a huge meteorite fell from the sky, falling on the sea level. The impact scene is very spectacular. The huge shock wave caused the plane to lose power. Fortunately, the captain used his superb driving skills to make a forced landing in the valley, preserve these elite talents with their own lives. They crossed the valley. Finally, I saw the base under the support of soldiers. They arrived at the shelter smoothly. Meanwhile, the largest comet fragment will hit Earth in a few minutes. Everyone rushed into the bunker in panic. Bunker. Detectors found. The largest comet fragment with a diameter of more than 14 kilometers has hit the sea level. The shock wave will arrive in 1 minute. As the bunker slowly vibrates, everyone can only pray silently, and count down 5 times along with the alarm sound. After impact, earthquakes, tsunamis, shock waves destroyed everything. The Earth has been reduced to ruins. 9 months have passed in the blink of an eye. Reboot the bunker. Gate. The dust has already dissipated. They finally saw the sun again. A little bird flew past my eyes, bringing hope for life. If the end of the world really comes, your profession will be selected. Tell you quietly, cleverly, I have secretly intercepted the male lead's QR code.